Well, hello.
What up?
Good
Gentlemen.
evening, gentlemen.
How are we?
Football.
Pretty good. Pretty bad.
Football.
NFL is happening.
Football's happening.
This is an NFL season.
Yeah.
The worst Super Bowl outcome possible.
It
This
is
is the
one
Super
of
Bowl
the Super
nobody
Bowls of all
asked
time.
for. Definitely the Super Bowl nobody asked for. Except for maybe Headhunting. He's in the chat. I think even he's like 50-50 because he hates Kansas City with a passion. And I think a lot of people are feeling that right now. Well, before we get into it, let's go. Welcome, guys, to the THF Extra Point. We're on episode 19 of our second season and our second to last show now. This is it. Like, we got one more after this, and that's to cover. That's to recap the Super Bowl, and then we're done. So we're off next week. We're taking a bye week because honestly, there will be no new news to cover next week.
We're not going to be covering flag football.
No.
Why?
It's the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl.
My boy
next
Drake
week?
May. Drake May made the Pro Bowl. Let's fucking
It's
go.
flag football.
Yeah,
It's only
that's
going to be
awesome.
flag. It's flag football from now on.
Is the Pro Bowl next week or is it after the Super Bowl? I always forget.
I believe it's
No, it's
before.
Next week.
It's the week.
Oh,
leading
okay.
up.
Yeah.
Okay,
They always-
okay.
It's the championship games, and then the next week is the Pro Bowl, which gives the two Super Bowl teams like a week off to prepare and get ready and all that shit, and then the Super Bowl.
But it used to be after the Super Bowl so that the people that were in the Super Bowl could also participate in the Pro
chance.
Bowl without risk of injury. But
It's like if you noticed on the thing, Lamar Jackson was listed as one of the AFC quarterbacks, but next to his name it was like in parentheses, and I forget who it was, but somebody else was listed next to him. And the reason they did that is because when they put out the Pro Bowl list at the start of the playoffs, if Lamar Jackson is going to the Super Bowl, then whoever's next to his name will be playing in the playoffs or the Pro Bowl instead.
yeah,
And they did that
I mean-
with all the people. They had
I mean,
a
the-
list
the-
of their names and then names next to them.
The Pro Bowl hasn't been respected in years. I can't remember the last time there was an actual like real. Back in the early 2000s, yeah, the Pro Bowl was something to watch because it was people actually played and actually tried. The last few years, especially now as flag football, first of all, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody fucking cares at all.
yeah, nobody cares about the Pro Bowl.
But second
Remember
of
when
all,
John
the
Madden
players
was a
don't
part of the
care.
Pro Bowls, and he actually picked his Madden teams off people that came to the Pro Bowls? Then players tried so hard because they wanted so bad to be a part of Madden team. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god!
Yeah, it's definitely just a vacation. It's a publicity, like,
And
look
now
at me,
that
I'm
it's flag
here.
football, it's just a party.
Yeah,
That's all
it's
it
just
is. It's a big party.
Now, don't get me wrong, they goof off and they have fun in the skills competition, that kind of stuff. It can be slightly entertaining.
I do like the skill competitions. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
it
like
can
when
be
they
entertaining
watch
for what it
serious.
is. Just don't
Tyreek
call it a
Hill
real
last
football
season,
game.
he lost to Micah Parsons in the speed competition. Micah Parsons ended up taking number 1 overall in the speed competition, and everybody's like, "Well, Tyreek Hill is obviously faster." Yeah, he probably is, but you know what? He didn't put in 100% in that skills competition. He was bullshitting around, and look what happened. He wasn't ranked number 1. Micah Parsons was ranked the number 1 fastest person in the NFL because Tyreek Hill didn't take it seriously.
That's crazy.
So technically, Micah Parsons was the fastest person in the NFL.
I'm sure the Cheetah's lost a step by now too. Anyway, he's kind of getting a little old, isn't he?
Yeah, he fucking shot out another kid. So
Right? that is the
bro's
funniest
got
meme
bro's
ever,
got no
man.
stamina left.
That one where it said it's the fake ones, the fake videos with the Dolphins head coach, and there's that one where he's like, Tyreek Hill, he's a great wide receiver, but I swear that kid he has a new kid every 200 yards that he gets.
It's true.
Oh, jeez. Well, hey, real quick before we get in, break down some of the NFC Championship games and the AFC Championship game. I do want to remind everybody in the chat that we are doing Super Bowl squares for the big game. I've actually got two boards going, and this is you can enter you can grab a square 3 different ways, excuse me, on either board, either Twitch bits here, Cash App, or PayPal. The big board is 300 bits or $3 per square. The small board, the little board, whatever you want to call it, is 100 Twitch bits or $1 Cash App or PayPal. All that instruction and all that good stuff is in the Discord too. If you need to connect with me there, come on down. The big board will have up to 20 different winners. Because there's four squares per quarter that will win, up to 4. And then the little board, it's set at 4 winners, first, second, third, and final. And then if the board fills up 75% or more full, then we'll do forward and backward score for that board. So yeah, if you guys want some Super Bowl squares to win V-Bucks. Now, if you're not a Fortnite player, don't worry. I am offering a cash option on the for the winners. So instead of 1,000 V-Bucks or 2,800 V-Bucks, I'll give you the cash instead. Oh, there's Digital Navy coming in with 200 biddies for square number 42 and 69 on the small board, it looks like.
Nice.
Here we go.
I can't have 420, so I figured 42 also.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
You could have 4. Oh, I was going to say you could have 4 and 20.
That's true.
Let me write that down so I don't forget.
Your child's in here, Nicole.
9.
Yo, mods, chat, can she say that?
And I think she's going to get banned, actually. My mods are pretty quick with those bans.
Mods, get her out of here.
So she is the mod. So we got some names on the big board already. We've got some names on the small board already, but 42 and 69 are available. So yeah, you got those. I'll put your name on them after the show. All right, cool. Well, now that business is out of the way. How about those games, guys? What do we want? We want to tackle the NFC or the AFC first?
No, I don't.
Nope.
I'm all set.
I refuse to elaborate.
We just don't want to talk about either game.
How about that Pro Bowl coming up, guys?
I simply choose.
How about next season's drafts?
Yeah,
I would love to talk next season's draft. Honestly,
man, next season's draft, dude. Could you imagine if the Cowboys actually take somebody like, what's his name, Erps or Erky or Erdsey or whatever, the Longhorns quarterback?
That's gonna be a first rounder guy, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. We need to take a quarterback with the first round pick.
Oh, running back.
What?
I'm fine with running back.
We just signed Dak Prescott to a mega contract, and you think the Cowboys are going to take a quarterback?
Okay, so the Giants signed Danny Dimes to $100+ million. How'd that work?
Look where Danny Dimes is at right now. If Dak Prescott don't work out, Dak Prescott ain't going to stay, I think.
I'm sorry,
he got his big
if...
contract. I think we'll get rid of him.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I feel like you should know Jerry Jones better than that.
Well, Jerry Jones is getting old, and he might pass on soon. And until that happens, but if it does,
what have you been smoking tonight?
The Cowboys season's over, so I'm not on that Kool-Aid anymore. I have nothing to gain anymore from being straight up on Cowboy Kool-Aid.
Yeah, but
that's all during the regular season. So right now, I'm hopeful and talking
reasonably. Like if
I'm talking reasonably, then I'm going to say the Cowboys will see the Super Bowl again in about 7 years. We'll have to sit through Dak Prescott's contract, this coaching contract, the next coaching contract, and then probably the coach after that might have a chance, because after that and that many years, we might have a chance at Jerry finally being gone and getting a good draft pick on a quarterback or running back.
So I don't know if I've said this publicly to you guys, but I've maintained this for a while now, that I predict the Patriots will win the Super Bowl before the Cowboys win another one.
Oh, I'm sure.
Patriots going to win another Super Bowl before the Cowboys do.
Until Jerry Jones is gone, we're not winning.
I think the Panthers will win a Super Bowl before the Cowboys do again.
That's a lovely hot take. I love it. But
we haven't even won 2 games in a season in like 28 years.
A couple of years ago, people would have thought
I
you
mean,
were
like-
crazy to think the Texans would win one before the Cowboys, but now look
Right.
at them.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
The Panthers have been trashed for a while, so they already understand how to try to get better. The Cowboys are new to being a bad team, so we don't understand how to get better yet. We're still just going. We're flashing cash and saying, "Nope, we got this. Next year, next season, we got this. All in, baby." While
So-
he's driving into a fire pit.
I
So
think a bad team is kind of an exaggeration, though.
I think we are a bad team compared to what we were 2 years ago. We were an amazing team, and then everything we lost.
I mean, I think the
we're bad.
Cowboys are trending in the wrong direction, unfortunately.
I think we have a pretty good
yeah.
quarterback, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. No running game, no real offensive line game. Our defensive line game's falling apart. Our
rookie head
linebackers are
coach coming in.
amazing. Yeah, rookie head coach coming in. We have Trayvon Diggs might miss some of the season. He's already guaranteed to miss all the preseason with his knee surgery. Again, another knee surgery. Like, yeah, but next year really is going to be our year. I'll be saying that when the year starts. Again, I'll be picking Cowboys every week and pick 'em.
So this,
But right now, no.
This is something I want to talk about tonight. It kind of ties into the Cowboys, but not really. Obviously, unfortunately, we are facing a looming Patrick Mahomes victory in the Super Bowl. Are we facing an actual possibility, and how probable is it that some of these quarterbacks that are always knocking on the door, they just can't quite get over the hump? Is there a possibility that these quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, that are renowned as some of the best athletes in pro football in the world, is there a possibility that they never win a Super Bowl? And if that's the case, are we currently sitting through the best quarterbacks to never win the Super Bowl?
No, I
Because of
think what it
Patrick
is
Mahomes.
it comes down to the best quarterback every season is who's going to win the Super Bowl, and unfortunately, it keeps being some of the same people.
Well, Patrick Mahomes hasn't been the best quarterback in football since 2018.
He's been the best quarterback the last 2 years because he's won Super Bowls both seasons.
I think he's
It doesn't
saying
matter
like
how you get there.
stat-wise.
I'm saying
definitely
stat
perspective.
wise.
No, and I understand stat wise, but I'm just saying overall wins and where he's gone every single season. It doesn't matter how you get the W's. Dude, I would
As
rather
far as
have
that goes,
Dak
yeah.
Prescott throw 50 yards a game and 2 interceptions and go to a Super Bowl every season than Dak Prescott go out there and kill it in the regular season and then lose first round.
Yeah, he's the regular season demon.
Yeah,
See,
like
and when it
it's
comes to
funny
the
because
playoffs-
Brian will say stuff like that, but then won't admit that Tom Brady's the greatest of all time.
Well, no, and that's why I say Tom Brady's an amazing quarterback. The reason why I don't admit he's the greatest all the time is because he cheated. Dude, you cheat once, and already, dude, you negate the other ones. Because how could you ever trust that he didn't? And honestly, with Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to say he's the greatest all the time because I don't think Patrick Mahomes himself has cheated, but I feel like he almost gets nearly cheating favor for the refs. I feel like if some of the refs didn't make the calls,
I still
he wouldn't have been in the Super Bowls. Like
I think that's a cop out, but again, what I was trying to
that's always my thing. Though, if you
what I've been trying to talk
greatest.
about is who do you guys consider the best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl, and compared to that individual, do we think that Allen, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, any of these players that we're currently witnessing, do you think they're better than some of the all-time greats that never won a Super Bowl?
Well, that was always Dan Marino's moniker, was the best quarterback to never win.
He
to
went
never
one
win a
time,
big
but
one.
never won.
You know, like and I would definitely consider some of these guys some of the best quarterback, especially Josh Allen, especially Lamar Jackson. I mean, you're talking about guys that are in the MVP conversation, damn near every year.
Didn't Phillip Rivers never win a Super Bowl?
Phillip Rivers
was a fucking great quarterback statistically. I don't think he ever won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, but Rivers never had the playoff success that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have had. I mean, of course, those are those guys that keep losing in the championship round, but or the divisional round.
So, yeah,
they're still getting there, and they're still
So Josh Allen just set this record, and Lamar Jackson is next year looking to tie the record of. So Josh Allen and the Bills have won a playoff game every year for the past 5 consecutive years and still not made a Super Bowl. The Ravens are on the brink of doing that next season, and of course the Bills are on the brink of breaking that record and setting it again. So yeah, it's a real toss up for me because my answer as well is Dan Marino. Like obviously statistically he's one of the best quarterbacks ever, and he never won the big game. So now we're looking at players like Mahomes and I keep saying Mahomes. Now we're looking at players like Allen and Jackson who can't get past Mahomes.
Yeah,
Burrow.
Well, the problem, and it goes back before these guys in the current generation too, because for the longest time, it was just the Patriots winning another one. So it's like the last 25 years have been just Patriots and Chiefs, and so it's like there was a lot more variety winning the Super Bowl back in Dan Marino. Everybody that was a great quarterback, Troy Aikman, John Elway, and Steve Young, and name all the greats from back in the day. They all won one. But over the last 25 years, we've had the same 2 teams winning every Super Bowl.
Right. So I mentioned in the Discord that the 21 of the last 24 years have had a player in the Super Bowl named Mahomes, Brady, Manning, or Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
21 of those 24 years. 10 of those years were Tom Brady, which that alone is a mind-boggling number. And Mahomes is coming up on that too. The last 10 seasons, it's been the Patriots or the Chiefs. It's a crazy number, especially in the NFL. Is in professional sports, they're the league with the most parity. You see all the time where teams go from absolute bottom of the barrel worst to getting over the hump and winning it.
Dude, and they have such an advantage too, because especially when you're a player like Mahomes that's been there so many times, you're not as nervous about it. You're very calm and collected because you've been there before. You've seen the championship game before. You've won it multiple times. You've won the Super Bowl multiple times.
And at this point,
when you get there,
it's the same way.
Yeah, and it's just the same thing over and over again. And then you have these people, like Josh Allen, like just looking at him when he was playing, like he just, to me, seemed like more anxious. Like his decision making was a little bit off because it's so, because you're going against Mahomes and you have that in the back of your head, even if your whole team's trying to motivate each other and hype you up before the game. Like before your head, you're like, damn it, this is the Chiefs, dude. Like we could lose this game. And just having that, yeah.
Go ahead, finish your.
I was just gonna say, just having that in the back of your head and like being behind in the score, it's just for someone that's never been there before, it's different. But when you're a guy like Mahomes that's been there, you're so much more collected and used to it, and you just have that advantage.
One thing we talk about Mahomes versus Brady a lot. How about Andy Reid versus Belichick? I mean, that's another one that's coming up on conversation of greatness. On which one, obviously Belichick's got his more skins on the wall, just like Brady has more skins on his wall. And to Digi's point, maybe there might be an asterisk there in some people's minds, But Andy Reid has proven to be an extremely valuable, one of the best coaches in NFL history.
Yeah, he's coming up on the same records. Like if there's anybody left in football that's going to beat the Shula record, it's him. He's coming real close.
Which record is that?
That's the all-time wins record.
Oh, all-time wins. Okay.
Obviously, Belichick has the Super Bowls, but
and I want to say too, like obviously we talk a lot about the rigging and like the bullshit, but obviously I don't think Mahomes is a bad quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback. You just don't like seeing the same shit happen over and over again. People complaining about it. Like there was a post I saw today about how one of the league, I guess, owners or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but his brother even was telling him, like, you're keeping quiet and you're not saying anything. And I think it actually is rigged, and how the majority of people and like surveys think that it's rigged, and there's just so much going
that was
on around that.
Dan Blangino or whatever. It was his brother. You know, he was a head referee and everything, and it was his brother saying that accusing him of knowing about the fix.
Look, I'm no NFL insider by any means, but I've spoken with professional football players, like ex-NFLers and people that work behind the scenes in the NFL. People don't recognize the sheer mass of the National Football League. We're talking tens of thousands of individuals with so many moving parts. It's logistically and fundamentally impossible to get every single person on board and keeping quiet in order to rig these games.
Oh yeah.
Are they influenced? Probably. The objective metrics, the numbers show that probably they do. It supports the argument. But in terms of the games being scripted or rigged, there's just no way to get everybody on board, especially with how unstable some of these players are. There's no way if it was actually rigged.
Scripted or rigged either. But what I do think is actually happening, and what I think that will get proven one day, I think that you are 100% right with that. You can't necessarily guarantee that you could keep every player, coaching staff. What player's not going to get drunk one night and tell his girlfriend or something like that? You know, you can. There's no way you can do that. Even with NDAs, any of that stuff, there's no way you could guarantee it. But compared to all of the thousands and thousands and thousands of players and coaching staff that you would have to deal with to keep quiet, you only have 100 or so refs that you'd have to keep quiet. Now that's a lot more manageable, and that's the part that always looks so suspicious is the referees.
Like I said,
and I maintain quiet.
Well, like I said, I've maintained this stance for a long time that the league definitely influences these games, and Vegas more than likely influences these games. At the end of the day.
That's what I said, dude. Tell me Vegas wouldn't call up one of these refs. And if the ref says no, who cares? But a random call to a referee who makes $60,000 a year, $100,000 a year, says, "Hey, man, you throw a couple games for us our way, and instead of making $100,000 this year, you'll make $3 million."
They don't even have to do that. They don't even.
Hey, you tell me what referee wouldn't be like?
But that's the thing is they don't have to do that. They don't have to do that. The refs don't care that much.
No, all the NFL has to do is Goodell comes down to the referees and says, "Look, this game. This is some of the things we need to look out for. We need to protect these players' safety, and if they even come close to hitting them in the face mask, you need to be throwing flags." And all they do is instruct them on what to watch for, and it could potentially change the game.
I believe they tell the refs, behind closed doors, but directly, hey, you guys need to favor this. You guys need to favor this team. You need to favor these.
Yeah, because you can be the Chiefs and like win a game outright, but you can still get calls in your favor. You know what I'm saying?
And we talked about in the chat after this game, where 50-50 calls are going routinely one side or the other. The refs on the field don't have anything to do with that. That's back in New York at the NFL offices. All right. It's not hard for them to do this. So again, I don't think the games are scripted or rigged, but I do think the league heavily influences these games, because at the end of the day, football, it's a sport and it's unpredictable and it's fun, but it's entertainment. All right. And it is the most entertaining thing on the planet. All right. Other than soccer on an international level, nothing has the captive audience as the NFL. Not even close. Yep. All of the highest rated TV shows every year are just random football games or the Super Bowl, not including the Super Bowl. They're just a random football game. It's a Monday Night Football, this team versus that team.
Chiefs
over all these shows that put up,
there's all types of replays and stuff too.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, the league is incentivized to make things go the way they want. Which
Dude, go ahead.
Sorry, no.
I was just gonna say, like, the thing that like bothers me the most is like when I've already talked about this, so I'll just bring it up again. When you're watching the game and they literally replay it and the announcers say that shouldn't be a call, we don't agree with it, and they call into someone, they say, yeah, that's not a call, that shouldn't have been called or whatever, it's not a penalty, and then they let it stand and you just don't do anything about it. It's like there's got to be a change there in the rules where we can reverse it or have something happen. Like no one agrees with it, but like it stands anyways, and that happens like I feel like every single game that I watch.
Some of these announcers are getting very vocal about it right now too. Troy Aikman, in particular, has been very, very outspoken.
Did you hear Tony Romo? It was one of the calls there when Tony Romo was announcing one of the games, and they had the head officiator on there, and he was like, "Yeah, that ball was definitely incomplete. It should be pretty easy for the referees to see that." And then the referees called it a catch. Yep. And Tony Romo was like, "Man, so you think you can maybe make a call down to the field and tell them what you saw? Because apparently they don't see the same things we are seeing up here." Like, hey, Tony even saying it, man. These refs apparently aren't seeing what we're seeing.
We haven't talked much about specifically the games. And by the way, Navy, thank you for the 100 biddies. I do have your number 30 on the squares board for you. I didn't miss it. But we didn't talk about a lot of the games specifically.
Before we get into the games, just with what Janu was saying, I think that's what the NBA does, and that's what the NFL needs to start doing. The NBA is allowed to challenge referees' calls. If the referees call like a technical foul or penalty,
but you're going to start getting into the weeds with that.
But make it like challenges, where you can have like 1 or 2 referee challenges a game. And if you fail the first one, you lose a timeout or something like that. You know what I mean? Make it just like challenges. And then if you get the first one correct, you get another one back. So you can maybe get 3 in a game.
There's instances like in the NHL. Bro. In the NHL, certain penalties are reviewed. Some of them are automatically. Like if there's a 5-minute major called in the NHL, it automatically goes to review to determine to New York or wherever it goes to determine if there's a game misconduct warranted, or if
how many times if
it could get reduced to a 2-minute minor.
So they didn't even touch his helmet. But from the referee's view, it looks like he hit him with his helmet. So they're like roughing the passer, leading with the helmet, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. And it's like, dude, you should be able to challenge that. Nothing happened. It was just a normal tackle. But
so the problem with that is if we're doing referee calls for subjective calls like that, you might as well just get rid of the refs, because you have a camera angle on every single individual angle of every play. So if they're going to take, like, me, I hate the refs. I hate the calls they make, but you have to draw the line somewhere.
They'll still get 90% of the calls right, but those 10% that get wrong, we should challenge.
It's not as easy as challenge everything or challenge nothing. There has to be a middle ground somewhere. So sort of, kind of, yes, maybe, but
that's what I said. Not challenge everything. You should be able to challenge any of the referees' calls up to, like I said, like a limit of 1, 2, 3 per game. Not just every single time you disagree, challenge it. But if you are playing in a game and there's clearly an incomplete pass or clearly a holding call that got called and your guy did not hold it at all, and the referees called it holding, and you lost a 3rd down because of it or something, then challenge it. You should be able to do that once or twice a game.
Yeah, I definitely think that certain penalties should be challengeable. That's not gonna fix the missed calls. Obviously, because if a penalty flag is not thrown, and we saw that too, and by the way, that went against the Chiefs in the Chiefs Bills game too. There was one particular play, and I can't even remember, but guy came up through the middle and it was massive holding, which should have been called against the Bills, and it was not called at all, and the announcers called that one out, but nobody's talking about that one because that would have helped the Chiefs instead of hurt the Chiefs. So we're only talking about the ones that went in the Chiefs' favor on national media and social media, because everybody hates the Chiefs right now.
And I will say too, in that game, to be fair to the Chiefs, they flat out won that game, and that's why it sucks. I think Janu said that earlier. It kind of sucks because like they're a good team. They won that game. Buffalo lost that game. They did not play well enough to win that game. The Chiefs didn't need the referees to help them win that game, but there was still some questionable calls, and because
they did
the
still
Chiefs,
they,
that's happened
they did
so many
still
times,
get more calls. They
they
still get more
everybody
calls.
flashes it out, and
Yeah.
they didn't need the extra calls. They didn't need that shit. They won without them, but they still happened. So
Of course, that one at the end. Now, and the one at the end of the game where they didn't give them the first down, and it was a turnover on downs. Obviously, that was a
terrible awful call.
That killed
what
the
about
game
the
right there.
Xavier Worthy catch right at the red zone, right
Also
before
terrible
the
awful
basher?
call.
Even the announcers are talking about that. Whenever the challenge flag was thrown, the first thing the announcer said was, "Well, I seriously don't understand why he's challenging this play. That was clearly a catch." And then they go and they show the replay, and you see the ball go right onto the ground. And instantly the announcer's like, "Oh, that's why he challenged." Okay, he's like, "Yeah, that's incomplete pass. That's incomplete. That's why he challenged it." And they were like just moving on, like that's an incomplete pass. And the referees are like, "Completed pass. The rule stands. First down, Kansas City."
Yeah,
Dude, the ball was on the ground. Like, what are you talking about? But,
yeah. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that we're just being a dead horse here. At the end of the day, the Bills lost that game. All right, they did not show up to play ball. They really didn't. The numbers support the notion that the Chiefs get more calls. They do. That's an objective fact. It's not. It's now you can start nitpicking whether or not it's the league's favoring them or whether they're a well coached team. It is what it is at this point. But all we
might be a little bit from column A, definitely a little bit from column B.
Yeah. All we know is that the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. They're about to three-peat. They're about to make history. They're about to do it again. So it's a tough situation to be in.
I will say I think the worst part about the Buffalo Bills is that they had, I feel like, one or two people that showed up for that game. Like James Cook showed up for that game, surprisingly, over 100 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns. Like he showed up. Josh Allen showed up. But when you have 2 people show up on offense against the Chiefs, like what are you gonna do? That ain't happening, dude. Nah. Good luck.
I thought it was a pretty good game, honestly. I maybe because I was rooting for the Chiefs in the first place, but I thought I didn't think it was a bad game by Buffalo.
No, it was actually a pretty good game, but I mean,
Buffalo didn't play to win though.
You can't deny that the Bills did not play well.
And at a certain point, like I said earlier, at a certain point, you could see that Josh Allen was defeated. I remember he was sitting on the sideline before they came back and scored that touchdown, right before Kansas City went down and scored. Before they scored that touchdown, they showed Josh Allen on the sideline, and he was already just freaking.
Here we go again.
I know, and then they goes out there though, and then he scores a touchdown, and it's like awesome, you got this. And then Kansas City gets like the first down, and Josh Allen's like, like, bro is just defeated, man. He's been there so many times losing to him. Every time they would just camera right in on Josh Allen, he's just freaking.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's kind of facing. I think he's kind of facing the reality that, man, he may never get past this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this might be the best it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
For some quarterbacks that reach that, elite level, real close to it. They just don't. Yeah. They can't get over the hump.
I'm almost gonna the freaking hot take call it and just say, I mean, not that's that hot of a take, but Lamar Jackson's gonna be that quarterback. I don't think he'll ever win a Super Bowl.
Look, hey, we're not that. We were real close to Peyton Manning not being in that category too. Peyton Manning went a long time being that guy that couldn't get over the hump, couldn't beat the Patriots, and couldn't win a Super Bowl. He ended up with 2 of them. A second one with Denver, but man, there were a lot of years where the Patriots and just whoever else was always in their freaking way. no matter what they did, no matter how good of a regular season they had, no matter how stacked they were, Peyton Manning couldn't get get them there, you know? And that's where Josh Allen and the Bills are right now. That's where Lamar Jackson is.
Can I just say that I had a theory that Peyton Manning only kept playing to get that next Super Bowl win because he got so sick of going to Thanksgiving dinner and sitting at that table with his Super Bowl ring and looking across it and seeing Eli Manning with his 2 Super Bowl rings.
hey, you might not be wrong. You know,
he was like, "I'm not quitting until I get a motherfucking second Super Bowl ring at least." He wanted 3. He didn't get it, but he wanted 3. He wanted to be able to sit there and go, "Yeah, Eli, sorry, catch up."
Yeah.
So are we surprised with how the NFC game turned out? Washington just couldn't. I mean, it was kind of like the exact same story. They just Philly was putting it to them too much and too hard, and they just couldn't.
To be fair to them, dude,
couldn't keep up.
In that game, I will say that the Washington defense decided to not show up apparently, and everybody else pretty much decided to not show up. But
the offense was turning over the ball like crazy.
It was the exact same situation with Buffalo on that side where Jaden Daniels showed up and Zach Ertz showed up, and nobody else showed up whatsoever to that game. Not the running backs, none of the wide receivers. Like I think Terry McLaurin had that one lucky touchdown. Like that's about it.
Yeah.
Besides that, and I mean he didn't even get 40 yards receiving. Nobody showed up.
It really looked like it was going to be a much closer game too until the fourth quarter. When
let's be honest. It was really just the Saquon Barkley show.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah,
like they had no answer.
And then Saquon takes a bow, rides off into the sunset, and Shipley busts off for 77 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 7 rushing touchdowns in that game.
Jalen Hurts, dude. The quarterback sneaking from them. Like, don't get me wrong, man.
The tush push.
We'll talk about that in a minute because I've already told you all my pick is, and I'll talk about that. But dude, the Eagles are scary now. They are the Baltimore Ravens without Baltimore Raven failing in the clutch. The Eagles have a team where you look at Jalen Hurts and he's not the best quarterback in the NFL. You look at the wide receivers; they got great wide receivers though. They got an amazing running back, but what they do is they run that ball. And when you can get out there and you run that ball and you can run it down people's throats.
Yeah, I mean the passing game has been kind of non-existent, and I honestly I want them to stay that way because I want AJ Brown to force his way out of town and come to the Patriots. But
it's crazy too because dude, they have really good wide receivers. Whenever you're sitting there with freaking or just like you just said AJ Brown, when you have AJ Brown sitting in there and you play an entire game and you got Devonta Smith had 4 catches, AJ Brown had 6. Everything else went to either tight ends or running backs.
Yeah,
that's it.
Think about it. That's why
10 catches all game in a playoff game. That's it.
If
everything else was
Philly
running.
did last year. Philly went 11-0 and then imploded because it was their whole season was on Jalen Hurts' back. This year he didn't have to be the guy. Saquon Barkley could be the guy, and look how much better they did.
Yeah,
it's the clutch situations where they're always going to have that tush push. They're great at the tush push. That's what they base themselves on. But it's the clutch situation where, I mean, they have a running back now who can literally bust off 60, 70 yards out of nowhere on a run play and get a touchdown. And he'll do it every single game. So the defense has to respect him. And then because of that, when you get into the 1 yard, 1st and goal, 2nd and goal on the 2 yard line, 3 yard line, well, now you have to respect Saquon Barkley. And you have to respect Jalen Hurts and his push. Yeah. So what the fuck are you going to guard? Like, what are you going to do? Well, not
just a push either. I mean, that stupid gimmicky play that they do that shouldn't even be in the league, Not only that, but I mean, Hurts can run too. You know, you got to worry about him rolling out.
That's the thing. And when you're right there in that red zone, it used to always just be eyes on Jalen Hurts. He's either going to run it, he's going to tush push it, or he'll pass it. But Jalen Hurts is going to do something in the red zone. Just stop him. Now it's, well, fuck. It's going to be Jalen Hurts or it's going to be Saquon Barkley. And both of those motherfuckers are scary in the red zone, so you have to throw a bunch of people on both in the red zone. I mean, you're going to have to double
Jalen Hurts anytime TD
That's
for
4
the
people
Super Bowl
right there.
game. That's
right.
Might be a pretty good bet.
Yeah, that is, dude. That's a good bet.
I had Josh Allen anytime touch or rushing or receiving touchdown quite a few times during the postseason too. But Jalen Hurts looks pretty good.
Exactly.
And I hate to say this because I'm obviously rooting for Kansas City. There's no way in hell that I would ever root for Philadelphia. It blows my mind that anybody that claims to have a star tattoo on their freaking body would root for the Philadelphia Eagles.
It hurts me, dude. This thing's burning right now.
There's no way in hell.
I hate to say it. As a true Cowboys fan, you should be rooting for the Eagles.
No way. No way.
They're the antithesis of the Cowboys right now.
First of all, I don't even care about that. Why would I give a shit about 5 Super Bowls and another team tying that when there's 2 teams that have 6? 5 is not the magic number anymore. So it doesn't matter.
It's not even that. It's not even that. I don't think anything is going to get through to Jerry Jones except their division rival winning a Super Bowl.
Their division rivals. You are not going to see two of the 3 division rivals playing in the NFC Championship game.
That's not
enough. The Cowboys haven't sniffed in 29 years.
It's not.
If that's not enough, he doesn't give a shit about Philadelphia winning the Super Bowl either. Newsflash.
If there's anything left, it is the division rival winning the Super Bowl, because you know what? Cool, they made it to the NFC Championship game. If they lose to Kansas City, it doesn't matter. But if they win, it just shows how far off. And if you want any actual change, that's the last ditch effort to get anything through to him.
Look, the coach he let slip out from under his fingers went and took that next team he played for the very next year to the NFC Championship game. If that doesn't light a fire under Jerry to do things differently, none of the other shit matters.
I mean, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah. So
at the same time,
Jerry's going to be Jerry. It doesn't matter. The fans have been calling for a new GM in Dallas for a decade now. 29 years. Yeah, we're tired of it. But this has been a conversation that's been going on for a decade. Nobody wants, and even when the Cowboys are good, people still, even when things are positive, 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, people still want Jerry out of that position. So, and he just gave an interview a couple weeks ago where he said, I bought this team to run this team. I'm going to be the GM of this team till the day I die. That's not a direct quote, but it's pretty much verbatim what he said. I mean, he's not going anywhere, and he's not going to change. There's nothing that can make him change anymore. And whether you believe he wants to win one or not, it sure as hell doesn't seem like it to a lot of fans anymore. But yeah, I will never root for a Philadelphia Eagle victory ever.
I can't help it. I am.
I mean, if they're playing Washington, I'll root for Washington. If they're playing New York, I'll root for New York. Philly's my number one hated team. Period.
For me too. That's why I was hoping Washington would beat Philly, because I didn't want to have to root for Philly.
Well,
but the absolute last thing that I want is the Chiefs to go out there and win a 3rd Super Bowl in a row. Excuse me, 3rd Super Bowl in a row, and then do something no team in the NFL has ever done. Because then they will forever be better than any team out there. You can never go look back at a team and say, man, remember how badass Tom Brady and the Patriots were? Well, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Yep.
Remember Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys, how badass Emmitt Smith and Michael Irving and all of us were when we won 2 Super Bowls in a row? That sucks because they weren't as good as Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because they won 3 Super Bowls in a row. That's always going to be the one up of any team ever in the NFL. They've won 3.
We already have that with the Patriots.
And
Patriots are one up over Dallas,
Okay, but the Patriots never won 3 Super Bowls in a row. So no team's ever done that. Dallas has won 2 in a row. A lot of teams won 2 in a row. No team's ever won 3 in a row. That's what the Chiefs are trying to do right now. And if the Chiefs do that, then the best case that we have is that the Chiefs will hold that record for at best the next 3 years. Because no team it would have to be the year after next. A team would have to win it, and then they would have to win it the following season, and then a team would have to win it a following season, and then the team would have to win it a 4th time to beat the Chiefs.
I agree, Dabs. I'd much rather see KC make history than watch Philly win.
Me. I would rather any team win than Kansas City because of the situation, and that's why, like I said, my fucking tattoo's burning, dude. It sucks. I'm having to say it, dude.
And look, I've said this in the Discord, and I'll say it. I'll say it here now. Mahomes is a Texas boy. Grew up in Tyler, Texas. Went to Texas Tech. He's a Texas guy. And KC. Their roots are in Dallas as well as the Dallas Texans. They're so much closer to that's one of the reasons they're one of my favorite AFC teams and have been before they started back in the Alex Smith era. They became one of my favorite AFC teams, and I'm still rooting for them. But even without them playing Philly, I'd still be rooting for them right now. So it is what it is.
I was hoping Washington would win. I would rather see Jaden Daniels be the first rookie quarterback to ever start and win a Super Bowl.
I mean, Janu said it earlier. It's kind of like seeing the same thing over and over just gets boring.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I think the ratings are going to be surprisingly lower this year than they expect them to be.
I don't. They'll be the highest ever, just like they are year over year.
The public really hates the Super Bowl, man.
I really don't even want to bet on it. I just want to ignore it, to be honest.
I have one bet.
I'm still going to watch it, but I don't know if I'm going to bet on it.
I have one bet, and it's on Kansas City winning. That's all I have.
I'm
not running any parlays. I'm not playing props. I'm not doing prize picks. Nothing.
It's going to be Kansas winning.
I have Kansas City winning. That, as much as I hate it, and as much as it sucks, I'm going to be crying, wiping my eyes with my V-Bucks card that I win from our pick'ems. But at the same time, I don't want it, but that's just the nature. I've kind of come to terms with it.
And that's why, I don't know.
There it is. There's the one.
I'm not
right here. Look at that. Everybody else is red. He's the only one that can get points in the Super Bowl.
I have never wanted to lose a contest more in my life.
And the funny thing is, Dabs is rooting for KC. You're rooting for Philadelphia. But if Philadelphia wins, Dabs wins. And if KC wins, Ray wins the V-Bucks. So,
by the way, too, let me be really clear too. I kind of explained this earlier to y'all, but I'll explain it to the podcast, everybody, real fast. I am 100% going to be, even though I actually want Philly to win, I am 100% going to be rooting for Kansas City to win, and I am picking Kansas City to win the game because every single team, if y'all look on there and how low I am, wild card round 15, 10, 0, yeah, I'm pretty freaking low. Pretty much every single team that I've picked to win in any round this season in this fucking bracket challenge has lost. Even last week when I picked Buffalo and Washington to win, and they both lost. Every single week I picked the exact wrong team. So since I'm sorry, baby.
We're in the wrong reality right now.
I know.
Jimmy, are you okay down there?
I'm picking.
We're in the opposite reality. I should be at the top and you should be at the bottom. Not because I want you to be wrong, but you have to be wrong for my end.
You said 15-0-0. I think I did this. I think I got one right in the division. I got 10 points.
I'd rather have 15 points and be wrong.
And yeah, you have 15 points choosing Houston to go all the way. So
wrong. I only picked them to beat the Chiefs. Okay. After that, I picked them to lose to the Ravens, which I would be fine with. But dude, this is like the worst outcome possible. Literally.
yeah.
For me and just for game, like just for entertainment. I at least wanted at least the Ravens to make it in. Like that, it would be fun to watch, I thought. But
yeah, I think Bills. I think the Bills getting into the Super Bowl would have been. I'd be in a very similar position as Wakko, but at the same time, I'd also want the Bills to win.
That was my thing too.
Because I'm a true Patriots fan, and I want change to be made, and I feel like the only way to get through to fucking Kraft's cheap ass is to watch the all-time division rival win the game. But to be fair, they have made some actual changes this season. So they're coming back next season.
Let's boycott
if the Bills
the Cowboys
had won, that would have been a really hard one for me because I would have loved to have seen the Bills go 0-5 in the Super Bowl.
It would be so fucking funny.
That'd be great.
I mean,
they would have played against Philly.
The memes, man, just for the memes. But
you would have had to have rooted for the Bills.
I would have had to.
It would be the worst. It would be the worst. The two worst fan bases going up against each other. Buffalo is the second worst, and then Philly. Well, I'm sorry, Philly is the worst, and then Buffalo and Dallas are tied for the worst.
Oh, so. Get out of here! Hey, look, I totally accept that we get, rightfully so, the delusional fan base tag. But as far as worst fan, no, not when you got fans going Washington fans getting heckled and like beat up and their gear stolen.
Philly's the worst. Philly is the worst.
Like
Philly
we don't even.
Philly's the worst.
We don't even compare. We're not even close.
That's why you guys are tied for second.
This is how you know that Philly's the absolute worst fucking city in the world. They won the Super Bowl and destroyed their own city.
They lose the Super Bowl and destroy
their own city. We're so happy that we won the Super Bowl. Burn everything down. Like,
so funny story.
Their city,
actually, funny story about cities getting destroyed. My friend works for an insurance company, and she works in like workforce management and scheduling and things like that. So leading the Thursday or Friday leading up to Super Bowl Sunday, they have to have a meeting about planning for which region they get the most call outs from, because if regardless of which team wins, you're going to get a bunch of call outs from people being drunk from their team winning and a bunch of call outs from their team losing. So they have to prepare. And that's just how influential the Super Bowl is. But
dude, Philly fans, like I said, they're ridiculous, man.
Philly's going to burn down.
Imagine if the Cowboys went to the Super Bowl and we won, and the fans mobbed outside in Arlington and started burning down every single business and building, flipping cars,
and stuff.
Yeah, torching cop cars, attacking each other.
That's what I'm saying. Businesses. That doesn't happen in Dallas. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah, because it takes 20 minutes to drive out of Jerry's World. There's nothing to burn down until then.
Even before,
everybody's calmed down by the time they finally get out of Jerry's World. All the traffic and shit, dude. It's another 30 minutes.
The Rangers won the World Series, and everybody was singing "Kumbaya" and stuff. You know, I mean, like
because it's Philly.
Yeah. All 15 people watching the Rangers win. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on now. They've had every single
I'm a
one
baseball
of those
guy. I love baseball.
Playoff games were sold out, bro.
Yeah.
Especially during the Houston series in the conference.
Yeah, fuck Houston.
Yeah, agreed.
Except for in football.
No, also in football. I've got some old loyalties, you know.
Well, that sucks for you.
No, not really. Like I said, I'm just fine rooting against Houston in every sport.
So Justin Tucker's going to the Browns, I heard.
Yeah.
You didn't know, dude? Him and Deshaun Watson, they actually went to college together.
That's crazy.
Makes sense. They also go to other places together.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, they like to go to Foot Locker and the mall. They get their car washed together.
Yeah, they get something else washed together too.
I think they get hand jobs from masseuses together.
I saw the funniest meme I saw today was it said Robert Kraft, Justin Tucker, and Deshaun Watson, and it was the three amigos, and they were doing the
Yeah.
There's gonna be pictures of Justin Tucker and the pack at Diddy parties now.
You know it's bad, dude, when the
gonna
news
get
is so
exposed.
crazy that everybody forgot about the Raiders wide receiver crashed into that person and killing that woman and going to prison.
Henry Ruggs the third, yeah.
Nobody
that guy would have had
about that dude anymore.
It sucks because he would have had a crazy career. He was fantasy monster, dude.
He was amazing.
When did that happen?
It was like 2 years ago, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same thing with Aaron Hernandez. If he hadn't been the way he was, he and Gronkowski would have torn up the fucking league.
They were all the
1-2 punch would have been crazy.
He was killing it, literally and on the field, but
yeah,
off the field and on the field, but
yeah, he was slaying both spots.
Yeah, seriously, man. So nobody talks about that dude. I saw a story that popped up about him the other day. I was like, man, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, there was a documentary about him on Netflix or something like that not too long ago, wasn't there?
And then remember the very next season, this last season, when they drafted one of the wide receivers they drafted, I forget what happened, but something happened, and he ended up going to jail. He was looking at some jail time. And I was like, dude, the Raiders cannot catch a break with their fucking wide receivers. They're young stud wide receivers. They just keep going to jail. Is it like, all right, guys, let's go out to Las Vegas and play some football? Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's gonna
I'm
be
18 years old. Give me $60 million and send me to Las Vegas. I promise I'm not gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, that was probably a bad idea, putting in professional sports in Vegas, honestly.
I'm definitely not going to get drunk and drive 150 miles an hour down the road in my Lambo.
Like, I never really thought about it too much. I'm thinking, yeah, why not? Who cares? Put a team in Vegas. And now I'm like,
right?
This is probably a bad idea.
Drafted rookies and shit like that. I mean, like, you figure, oh man, I just got drafted. I'm going to Philly. I'm going to Dallas. You know, I'm going to Colorado or something like that. These different states. And then you got, man, I'm an 18-year-old millionaire. I'm going to Las motherfucking Vegas. Prostitution's legal? Huh?
Yeah. Prostitution and gambling.
Legal? Oh, shit, son.
Yeah.
Vegas
Whose idea was
trouble with young kids lately.
Dude, imagine if Johnny Manziel went to Vegas instead.
Oh,
what he would have gotten into,
He'd
dude.
be dead. He'd be dead. That's what happened. Johnny Manziel overdosed last weekend.
So, is there anything that we're looking forward to in the Super Bowl at all, or is it really just like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm looking forward to Travis Kelce retiring.
Do you guys think this will be his last year?
If they win, he's retiring for sure.
He'll end it on the high note for sure.
So what if they lose? You think he'll try to come back?
Loses, he might come back, but
so
I don't think
if they lose, I think he's gonna like drag it out and like make it seem like it's all up in the air, and then right before the preseason, not even.
So is he gonna propose to Taylor Swift on the field if they win and during?
So a lot of rumors are saying that they're already engaged. So
the Swifties, there are abundant rumors of them already being engaged.
Yeah. I think he retires either way. I think him and his brother are having so much fun, off the field, that I think he's about ready to give it up regardless.
And the dude's 35 years old. You know what I mean? Like next year,
I mean,
during the football season, because his birthday's in October. So next year, mid football season, he'll be 36. He's not getting any younger.
Oh, it's so old.
For tight end,
especially for a tight end, yeah. In the NFL.
Although in his defense,
quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, you can't play until you're most of the time until you're Super Bowl.
In his defense, he doesn't block for shit, so he's missing those hits. But at the same time, it is tough. It's
they got Noah Gray
The money
for that.
positions, the ones that are getting hit a lot. Whenever you've been getting hit for 10, 15, 20 years, you were getting hit in high school, you've been getting in college, you've been getting hit all your life.
That's why the shelf life is so short for running backs.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Those are running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks. The big money positions, like punters, kickers, they'll play to like 45, 46. But all the star positions, once they're
Quarterbacks too, apparently.
Yeah, like 34, 35, that's when they're considered pretty old at that point.
I hear a lot of people saying that KC's going to fall off immediately and Kelsey retires, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like,
I don't think so.
Kelsey wasn't that huge of a factor this year outside of maybe a couple games.
No, he was his best game was against Houston, and then he's been a non-factor the rest of the season.
I know. Yeah, so
They're basically playing without him now. So yeah, he's one step away from retirement anyway. So
yeah,
I mean,
I think that's a pipe dream. That's wishful thinking that they're going to fall off just because of Kelsey leaving.
No. I think when you'll see a fall off is when Andy Reid retires.
Yeah, I don't know how old he is or what his situation is health wise, or if there's anything like he doesn't seem to be a coach that's on his way out. That's for sure. Seems like a coach that's in his prime, really.
He's pretty old. He's at least in his late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah. No, you think is he that old?
Yeah.
I gotta look this up now. Andy Reid, football coach. 66.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I was thinking he was
and he's not a spry late 60s like Pete Carroll's in his 70s and the dude is a fucking spider monkey.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the joke on Andy Reid, right? He's one cheeseburger away from retirement.
Those nuggies. He's 120-piece nuggie away. Good God. I know, dude. That's why I said that commercial. I literally rushed to hit the mute button.
Yeah.
After the first time I heard it, I was like, "That's stupid." The second time I heard it, I was like, "Okay, this is fucking idiotic." The third time I heard it, I had to mute it because I wanted to punch my TV screen.
Yeah.
I could not stand hearing that idiot anymore.
I'm all good.
Give me some of them nuggies.
Yeah,
I do think it's ironic that we
have grandchildren.
Yeah.
I do think it's ironic that we have now. This is the second Philly KC Super Bowl, and Andy Reid. Those are the only two NFL teams he coached for. It's another Andy Reid Bowl.
Yep, it's pretty interesting. But so kind of get back to what you were saying before. Is there anything that we're hoping for in this Super Bowl? I want, as much as I know the Chiefs are going to win, I want the Eagles to win, and I want Saquon Barkley to have a career game. And I think you guys can agree with this part. Just to stick it to the Giants. The funniest fucking thing ever would be Saquon Barkley to go the fuck off in the Super Bowl, win Super Bowl MVP, be the first running back to do it in decades.
I tell you, that would be the one silver lining that I would be okay with should the Philadelphia Eagles win, is as long as Saquon gets MVP and I get to laugh at the Giants for the next 50 years. Because that is like the biggest WTF moment in NFL history, is why they let that guy go and sign Danny Dimes.
Remember, that child told him to keep Saquon and sign Jaden Daniels, and they didn't do either of those things.
Nope.
Even he's smarter.
Absolute embarrassing.
Bro should be GM.
As if it's not already embarrassing enough. I mean,
but instead,
the guy's a powerhouse. He'll be a powerhouse in Philly for years to come now. And it's all because the Giants were too stupid.
Giants are freaking idiots, dude. And honestly, the Cowboys are idiots too, because they should try to pick up Saquon Barkley.
They couldn't even pick up Derrick Henry. I mean, what are you talking about?
Couldn't afford him.
Oops.
Yep, I'll be rooting for the Chiefs to win. So I'm finally rooting for the Chiefs on something.
That's a good.
I'm ready for
fan.
next year.
I'm not rooting for the Chiefs, but I'm not rooting for anybody. Again, I'm rooting for the world to end, the rapture to happen. That'd be awesome.
You
Although
got the meteor.
I do kind of have.
Yeah, I think I'd rather that happen too.
I do kind of have a theory that the rapture has already happened and that we're the sinners left on Earth, witnessing Armageddon, which is the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. But I don't know, man.
Oh, brother.
But no, it's not really rooting for the Chiefs. It's kind of been accepting that the Chiefs are going to win. It's I've come to terms with it.
Yeah. That's fun. That's fun. Go Chiefs. Go Chiefs. I do kind of I want it to be a good game, more so than anything. Obviously I don't have a dog in the fight for the most part. The Chiefs are my AFC team, but if they don't win, I'm not going to cry. I'm just going to turn off the TV and move on with my life.
I think you might cry.
I might check my phone a few times and see the score.
I'm gonna watch it for sure. We'll probably either have people over or we'll be over.
I'm gonna go find a nice sports bar up here in Portland, Maine. Go eat some fucking wings and watch the game because I'm sure shitting out driving all the way home just to watch these two. If it was one of the other teams, I would have. But this is like the boring ass fucking matchup.
And that's what people were talking about last year too, with the Chiefs and San Francisco. It's just like,
well, everyone's been high on the Lions. Everyone's which hot take. I think the Lions are done. I think they're cooked.
Really?
Yeah, I think this was kind of like the nail in the coffin, getting bounced when they did. Their coaching staff is all mixed up. I think people are
they lost their OC and their defensive coordinator, right?
Yep.
They got shocked against Washington, dude.
Yeah, I just think, and I think
just like upset
Goff,
of the year.
I think Goff is shaken. I just
literally too. Bro was getting shook up.
I think they fall off hard again next year. I mean, not like they're not going to have a losing season by any means. They'll probably still win double-digit games, but I just don't think they're going to be able to make the run that everyone thinks they're going to. Especially with the NFC getting better over the course of the year, they're not going to have the same success that they had this season by any means.
Yeah, I'll be interesting setting up our tier lists for next season.
I don't even know what I'm going to do for a tier list next season.
It's too early to tell.
Oh yeah, it's way too early. But
we're still in this season. Okay, let's get through this season first.
If I print out the tier list for next season, and then where I want to put the teams, is it okay if I just smear shit on the paper and give that to you instead?
Honestly, you would probably get more picks right than you did this year.
I might. Yeah. I'd be angry if that wasn't wrong.
It was there were some rough weeks to start off the season too. I was looking back at the pick'ems and stuff that the first week or two, like it was like 8 or 9 out of 16 games, right? Like most people was winning. We got better as we went. I mean,
I don't understand how
perfect.
This season I did so fucking well in pick'ems and I did not win a single week. I was off by one pick so many times. It was terrible. I won at least one last season. I didn't win a single one this season.
And out of the 5 of us, you won overall for the year.
Which I'll take that dub. I will wear that dub, but at the same time, it would have been nice to win some V-Bucks.
Yeah. Well, as long as Kansas City does their job, then you'll get some V-Bucks on the backside of the playoff brackets. Yeah. So, what did we do with those? I don't remember. What was it? Was it a 2,800 V-Buck? I don't remember.
I hope so. That's what I would like, please, if I get the request. But
let's see. It was a $25 Amazon gift card and a $15 Twitch gift card. So you can buy your own V-Bucks.
Those aren't bad. I'll take it. I have to win first. If not, Dabs gets to rub it in my face.
Yeah, you guys are rooting against your own interests for the Super Bowl. That's great. I love it.
I'm in another pick'ems league, and it's down to a tiebreaker now. I have the Chiefs winning. I'm the only person over. How many people were in our pick'ems?
It was 5, 10, 14. 14
okay,
people played.
There's 8 of us in the other league. So out of 20 people, I'm the only person to pick the Chiefs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
you're the only one who was such a big fan of the Chiefs. Such a big diehard fan.
Something like that. Something like that.
Almost everybody in our pick'ems had Buffalo Detroit in the Super Bowl. And it was about 50-50. No, it wasn't even 50-50. Most people had Detroit winning.
Yeah.
Against either Buffalo or Baltimore. I think you were one of the only people that had KC. No, there were like 3 people that had KC. Yeah, 3 people that had KC winning in the conference.
But I was the only one that had them winning.
But you were the only one that had them in the Super Bowl. And then we had Aerodark, who surprisingly came in 3rd in the bracket, and he had Minnesota going to the Super Bowl.
Jeez.
And they were one and done again.
Yeah.
Again. Freaking. Oh, Minnesota, man. What do they do with Sam Darnold?
The fire him into the sun, probably.
Strap his ass to a fucking rocket.
I mean, listen, seriously. If
drop him down the Marianas Trench.
If you're any team not Minnesota, do you take a chance on that kid? Seeing how he rebounded from his time in New York.
The way I would look at it, dude, if you're Minnesota, there's only one person you want to take any type of risk on right now, and the only one quarterback you want to play, and that's your rookie, your first round drafted rookie quarterback from last year. That's going to be. I don't care what anybody had did during the regular season. They failed in the playoffs yet again, so they're going to go right to the rookie and say, "You are a first round pick for a reason. We want to see what you have." And then if he sucks, then there'll be discussion of, all right, now who do we start? What do we do now? And it's very likely because the Vikings have gone through 40, 50 quarterbacks in the last 2-3 years.
Not quite as bad as the Browns, but
if you're Sam Darnold, do you go to Minnesota and say, "Hey, I like it here. I know he's the guy. Hey, I'll be the backup."
This is going to sound deranged, but Sam Darnold should go back to the Jets. I'm not even kidding because
Aaron be a better option.
They're not running it back with Rodgers.
Any quarterback, honestly, I feel like
they're not running it back. That's a dream Rodgers.
Situation for them.
They still have Garrett Wilson. They still have Breece Hall.
Yep.
They still have the corpse of Devontae Adams.
That's bad.
They do. If Aaron Rodgers weren't such a fucking weirdo, that team is built for success. They have a really good defense.
Be fair, okay? Everybody knows it's the kicker's fault, not Aaron Rodgers. All right, that was made very clear.
It's also the coach
season
and the wide receivers.
It was the coaches not coaching, calling the correct plays,
and the offensive coordinator,
and the kicker not kicking far enough.
We don't have a new coach in New York yet, right?
Yes, we do.
And the punter didn't have a vaccination.
Yes, so. It is.
Yeah, the Jets already have a new coach.
Who the fuck is it? It's not Rex Ryan. That's
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Rodgers basically said after they had fired what's his name, and they didn't have anybody hired yet, that he was holding off making any decisions on retirement or whatever until he talked to whoever the new coach would be. So
I think Aaron Glenn's going to be like, "Son, you've had a great career. It was nice meeting you. There's the door." You don't want none of that trouble, dude. Aaron Glenn ain't trying to get fired because of Aaron Rodgers next season.
Yeah, and he's either playing for the Jets or he's not at all. No team is going to take him. He can't go anywhere. Where's he going to go?
I do believe there's one team
Minnesota
to have Aaron Rodgers. No. I believe,
which would be funny. It would be really
It'd be
funny.
hilarious.
There's one
It'd be awesome if
team
he went to Minnesota.
that would love to have some Aaron Rodgers there.
Oh man, I would love to see Aaron Rodgers go to the Cowboys just because.
Go to a
Please,
little bit of
no.
that Cowboys.
Show's over.
Please,
I love-
no.
I
All right,
love-
guys. Thanks for coming out this week. I
love you
appreciate
guys.
y'all.
Like I love you guys as people. You're my friends, but I also love your misery as Cowboy fans. And watching Aaron Rodgers and Jerry Jones team up would be the funniest
That's the thing.
fucking thing I can imagine.
He's just crazy enough to do it and fit in. But then imagine Dak Prescott, right? You have Dak Prescott as a veteran, and then you have Aaron Rodgers as a veteran, and then we draft first round a quarterback. And now you have a rookie quarterback with 2 veteran quarterbacks ahead of him to teach him. Both who are going to be gone soon.
And then Trey Lance just goes to fucking McDonald's, I guess. Like,
And and Dak Prescott then has somebody at his back who actually has right. Definitely, hold on.
so
I mean,
your
come on,
strategy,
bro.
your strategy is
Then
5
Dak
quarterbacks.
Prescott has Aaron Rodgers
So
at
you
his
want-
back.
so you
and
want
is
Aaron
actually
Rodgers,
scared for his job.
Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, and to draft a first
Oh
round.
no! I want Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, and then a drafted first round. That's it. You can get
So
rid of
where's-
Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. Trade him, get rid of him, cut him. I don't give a shit. Let him go to free agency.
All
They
right,
ain't good
buddy.
enough to play for us anymore. Later.
Man.
Trey Lance had his shot twice, and he blew it faster than a freaking prostitute on the corner. Okay, like that dude is not it. He's not even backup material.
What happens to Kirk Cousins? Speaking
What
of
I've been
wash
saying.
quarterbacks.
No, and like Wakko said, Wacko's been saying it, but you know what? He needed to get a shot, and he finally got it. He ain't it. Boy, ain't it. He had his one chance. And yeah, Kirk Cousins. Hell, let Kirk Cousins come to Dallas. Shit.
Oh God.
Somebody come put some fear in Dak. Where Dak Prescott has to look at the bench and not see Cooper Rush trying to take his job. Ooh, Dak's scared Cooper Rush is going to steal his starting position.
Kirk Cousins has to go somewhere where he has a Justin Jefferson. He has to have
CeeDee
somebody
Lamb.
to complement his one tool,
CeeDee Lamb.
and that is the long ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
CeeDee Lamb.
I have an interesting take. I think 2 things are going to happen in succession, and it's going to one thing is going to happen leading to another thing. I think Tua Tagovailoa is once again going to get concussed, and it's going to finally do him in. He's going to retire. I think Dak Prescott goes to the Dolphins
Mid-season?
at some point, whether he's dealt, whether
I can see that having him. Dolphins would
Yeah.
take him.
whether he's dealt or whether he demands a
They
trade.
don't have much of a better option.
I think after I think if it's not Dak, it's going to be fucking Russell Wilson.
And that would free up Dallas out of that contract. Free that money up and be able to say, hey, man, let's deal with this quarterback.
I think Dak goes to Miami at some point.
There's plenty of filler quarterbacks that can get you through a season. There's plenty of Joe Flacco's and Deshaun Watson's and, Dominators out there that can get you through a season while you wait to draft a good quarterback or something like that. But, man, there's just only so much you can do. Like I said, and I love Dak, and I hate it because I love Dak as a person. I love him as a regular season quarterback. I think he's an amazing guy. I think he's a great face for the Cowboys.
But he's not a champion.
He is not it. He will not win us a Super Bowl. It's not going to happen with Dak. And if we already know that that's not going to happen, if we know that we're not going to get a Super Bowl with him, then why are we still playing him?
All right. So on that topic, and kind of on the topic I talked about earlier in the show, if you could choose one quarterback in the league right now that has not won a Super Bowl, who are you picking and why?
Joe Burrow.
Why?
Because I feel like Joe Burrow 100% can win a Super Bowl. And honestly, and as much as I feel like it's the opposite end of it with the Chiefs, I feel like with the Bengals, it all comes down to honestly kind of just luck and defense. And if Joe Burrow came to the Cowboys and our defense actually stepped up, I think we could win a Super Bowl
the
with them.
Cowboys.
Yeah, dude.
Man, your strategy is just get everybody on the Cowboys.
No, I mean you were saying
Sounds
if I
like
had the
playing
option,
Madden.
you were saying if I had the option,
I think
to
you should
pick
call
one,
Tom Brady.
If I had the option to pick one non-Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Cowboys, that's what I thought you were talking about.
No, not for the Cowboys.
That's why I think. Oh, or just overall. I think
Yeah,
I would
just
still
overall.
pick Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow has proven that he is a phenomenal quarterback and can beat Patrick Mahomes. But every game he puts up 50 points, his defense lets in 60.
Yeah.
If he puts up 45, his defense lets in 55. Like, he just needs a defense. He's a fucking great quarterback, though.
Honestly, it's really tough because you know, at the end of the day, football is a team game. And when you're talking about one position, it gets really tricky. I mean, yeah, I'd love to say somebody like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, but those guys have had really rough stretches also. You know, say what you want about Dak, but Dak's had some really good stretches that compares or exceeds what those guys have done. You know, or then you got somebody like Jaden Daniels who's fresh and like, dude, lots of upside, lots of potential, young, you know, first year in the league, who did what the, you know, put up a great quarterback season. He would be an obvious choice. Like, there's so many guys that if you just isolate the quarterback position, you're like, man, I could start a franchise with that guy. I could do it with that guy. I could do it with that guy. I could do, and there's a good probably 8 quarterbacks in the league that you could say that with.
Yeah.
You know, right now.
So I would say that the quarterback is the most galvanizing position in sports. It's not the loneliest by any means. Like, the loneliest is a starting ace pitcher in MLB. But the most, like, the best position to take a team from one level to the next is the quarterback in football.
Yeah.
That's why Dak catches so much shit, because we are America's team, and you are in the star
The face
position.
of America's team.
Yep.
You're the decision maker, you know, especially when you're a veteran quarterback. They give you more freedom to do what you want to do and make your own plays and stuff like that. Make your own calls.
Kill.
And yeah,
But the
because they trust
reality
you.
is you can still have a badass season and not do shit in the end.
Yeah.
Like what happened to the Cowboys last year, you know, or what happened to the Vikings this year, or what happened, you know, it's
the
like
Lions this year.
the Lions.
Every single person in the NFL had the Lions at least making it to the championship.
Yeah.
Lost first round, first game they played.
Yeah, it's like it, because at the end of the day, it's still a team game. I mean, what happens last year? The Cowboys have the best team that they've had in a decade, and the defense plays like the defense had played all year long against Green Bay instead of giving up 50 points in the first half. You know what happens? What happens to that team last year? You know,
I think the problem with this season, and not a lot of people realize it, is that apparently they forgot to change the script. Somebody grabbed the wrong script. They grabbed last season's script or some shit like that for that Detroit game, because that Detroit game was literally just Cowboys last season. You had the Super Bowl favorites, the best team in the NFL, going in and playing against a young, kind of wild card team that nobody expected to do anything against them. And they went out there and kind of got shit on and lost the game. And it's like, if you give that description of the game, you could say, which game are you talking about? The Cowboys game last year or the Lions game this year?
yeah, true.
They're the exact same. The exact same thing happened in both games.
Once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen.
Yeah,
anything can happen.
Jinu, are you going with CJ Stroud for your pick?
You know he's going for Dobbs.
Yeah, obviously Dobbs.
That's a good
The
answer.
Dominator.
I mean, CJ Stroud's up there, but he's so young. I feel like, honestly, I'd rather it be a guy like Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, because they are so good. They've been in the league for so long. It's kind of depressing watching them fail over and over again, honestly. So yeah, I'd probably be one of those two. If I picked one, it probably would be Joe Burrow, because I think he's the most talented passer, and he's beaten Mahomes before. So I feel like in order to get into a Super Bowl and do it, you got to beat Mahomes. So
plus, I mean, arguably he does the most with less. I mean, when you compare those teams right now, the Bengals, they got Jamar Chase and what?
Higgins.
And Higgins.
Yeah,
Mike Gesicki.
Yeah. But come on,
Chase
really?
Brown.
No run.
He had a crazy good year. Their defense was horrible. That's what it comes down to. So I love Joe Burrow. I'm a Joe Burrow manager. I'm a Jamar Chase manager too. And deep down, I do want to see him win. But the number one quarterback I want to see win a Super Bowl is Baker Mayfield. I am a shill for Baker Mayfield. I've been on the Baker train since he was drafted by Cleveland. And I'm a firm believer that he was done dirty by that coach. He was set up for failure. He was lucky to be with McVay for the short spell he was with, kind of revived him. And obviously he's having great success with Tampa Bay. I just think he's a winner. He's a leader of men. And
I like that part. He's a leader of men.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the number one quarterback right now I want to see win a Super Bowl.
I like Baker. You know where Baker would be great? Detroit.
The Cowboys.
Detroit. I would.
No, I was gonna say honestly, if we're just talking about quarterbacks, who I just want to see win the Super Bowl who haven't. I thought, like I said, I originally thought you were talking about coming to my team, but like we just talk about quarterbacks, and dude, obviously, I'm surprised nobody's thought about this yet or said it in chat. The number one person who deserves to win a Super Bowl is Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. That's who I want to see win a Super Bowl. It's Dak motherfucking Prescott and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I figured you were going to go there, and then you started talking about
that's
Joe Burrow.
Wow, yeah, that's why at first I thought you were talking about which quarterback.
Like, oh, okay, that's where it is.
The
Got
Cowboys.
it. Okay.
Yeah, it's all like Joe Burrow with the Cowboys. That'd be fucking amazing. I think we'd win a Super Bowl no problem with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I would love to see that, and my opinions would switch on him very hard.
Oh, instantly.
He'd be a legend.
That's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's the best quarterback in history. They've never had a quarterback like Dak Prescott. He's the MVP.
Yeah, because if Dak was playing like he did in the regular season in the
Dak
playoffs,
Prescott right here on my arm.
if Dak put up those games against like Mahomes in the Super Bowl or some shit like that, oh my god, I'd be glazing the hell out of him, dude.
If Dak went out there the first round of the playoffs and threw for 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, dude, I'd be so fucking happy. But we live in reality where he goes out there and has a 50% completion rating for 145 yards and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact stats, but I don't know.
They were good. They were bad.
Yeah, that's the reality we live in, and it sucks. But
it's gonna be real interesting to see what a lot of teams do next year. But we'll get to next year when we get to next year.
I'm excited for the draft coming up. I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's because and the main reason is that it's not a heavy quarterback draft. So we're going to see a lot of skilled position players that, last season it was all quarterback. That was like the talk. It was the quarterback. It was all the quarterbacks. And then it was MHJ and Joe Alt. And the rest of it was, who is that player? This time around, it's mostly position players. So I'm excited to see how the draft goes.
It just sucks that the draft happens when it does. It's like impossible for us to do a live draft show.
Well, a live draft show is really hard. It's like a 6-hour evening. So, but I would like to. I know it didn't work out logistically last season, but I would like to do a draft reaction. Talk and hopefully get Dabs in on the mix and considering his team as the first overall pick.
Like I never really paid attention to the draft. Like I said earlier in the season, I've actually been playing a shit ton of NCAA since they finally have an NCAA game out again this year. And whether you pay attention to college football, whether you watch it or not, it's like if you've never watched a single fight in the UFC, but you play UFC, well, you're gonna know all the fighters.
Yeah. I
don't watch college football, but I play a shit ton of NCAA recently. So I kind of know a lot of the college players. So I'd be down to do a reaction to it. Be like, oh, hey, yeah, that dude. Not good enough that I can be like, I'm looking at this guy and I think this is going to be a stud.
We should talk about the draft a little more, considering our roots of the show is fantasy football. Especially given that we're a keeper league. you get some of these, you drop some of these players, some of these rookies coming in, you have potential to have a blue chip player for your career, essentially. Yeah. I was lucky. I got Jamar Chase his rookie season, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah, I had him his rookie
season.
I'm
hoping Drake May is the same case.
I got Justin Jefferson his rookie season, and it was so funny because it was the season I won the league, and I had there was the discussion about the draft pick and how we had to redo it and all this stuff, and I ended up getting the first overall draft pick. And I made the argument about how the first overall draft pick is nice and everything before we even did it, and I even got the first pick. And I made the argument, and my point still stands, that the first pick is nice. But just because you get the first pick in the draft does not mean that you are guaranteed to win the championship. That's just, it's one player. It's a nice to get, it's nice, but it doesn't mean you're going to win. And then that season, I got the first overall pick, and with that pick in our draft,
that was when you and I had some pretty bad fights over this, and then I ended up being right at the end.
I know. I was like, I hate that my shit got proven wrong, but my point still stands. Okay,
yeah,
it doesn't normally.
And I was the exception. I placed. That was the year I placed third, and I had last pick in the fucking draft.
I was like, it doesn't normally guarantee it.
After
Justin Jefferson went
my first season, I was dead last in the league. I was supposed to have first overall pick, and then we were like, "Oh, we're gonna switch it up," and then I didn't get first overall pick.
And I
still placed third anyway.
I had Christian McCaffrey as a keeper and Lamar Jackson as a keeper, and then with the first overall pick, I was able to take Justin Jefferson. First year, Christian McCaffrey was healthy all year. That's why I won the championship. I had all three all season getting me points. It was the only year since I've gotten all three on my team that all three have been healthy. Besides that, one of them have been injured a majority of the season the entire time.
Well, boys, are we ready to get out of here?
I think so.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see everybody after the Super Bowl. Let's freaking go. Oh, IB coming in with the Monday night, with the Super Bowl squares.
48.
Last minute.
Right.
What on the little board? Let me see real quick.
48. Hey, Cryptic is playing Marvel Rebels.
48.
48.
Yeah, 48's open. Got you, big dog. IB 48. IB 46 at the moment, but I'll be 48 in a couple years. There we go. Yeah, guys, get at me. Let me know if you need any Super Bowl squares. We got a lot. Over 35,000 V-Bucks available to win. Over 35,000 V-Bucks in two different boards. A $3 board, a $1 board. Obviously, the $3 board is a lot more V-Bucks to win. But you can hit me up here on Twitch, on PayPal, on Cash App. If you got any questions, hit me up in the Discord. Cool? Cool. We sending a raid anywhere, or are we just getting out of here?
You can raid if you want. I said Cryptic's online.
Yep, I didn't have my dashboard up, but because I'm a slacker.
I haven't seen him online in a while.
Cryptic
817, because he's a Texas boy.
I bet you he's not rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, I'm starting the raid over to Cryptic. Guys, go say hi to Cryptic. Show him some love. Let him know that's a THF podcast raid. Hit him with that hashtag, We Are THF, and we will see you guys after the Super Bowl for our last and final episode of Season 2. Love you guys. Peace. Awkward wave time.